Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm so grateful and happy that you are here. In this video, I'll be sharing a yoga class inspired by the Breathe for Change foundational yoga sequence. So, this will be a yoga class, and we'll be moving through some exercises and movements. And just keep in mind that the exercises and asanas or poses and postures of yoga are just one part of a huge um, system of philosophy and ethics and spirituality that I'll share a little bit about before we get started. But if you do plan to participate in the exercise, a few things to keep in mind. Number one, if you have any questions about your body or your needs, perhaps if you're recovering from an injury, make sure that if you have any questions, that you check in with a doctor or a medical professional before you try a yoga practice. And regardless of whatever you're going through and however you are in your body, remember that the yoga practice is for you. And so really listen to yourself, even as I'll be guiding you through different options and invitations. Really listen within as we go through this practice. Um, what else? It's important to just to have fun with it and remember that people of all different body types, all different shapes, sizes, abilities, people of many different racial backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, um, class backgrounds, abilities, religious background. Many people have practiced yoga. And it's also important to keep in mind that yoga has its roots and origins in over 5,000 years of people practicing. And the roots and origins come from Southeast Asia and the many cultures and countries and influences, religions, and spiritual traditions and people of that region of the world, a place that I myself have never been to and I'm humbled to learn a little bit more about. So I encourage you to keep learning, and especially if you haven't practiced Hinduism or Buddhism or Jainism, or if you haven't traveled to that part of the world, to really have an open mind and heart to continue learning about the roots and origins of yoga from many different teachers and many different classes, perhaps. Okay, so you'll want to perhaps set up a few things. You don't need anything to do yoga other than yourself and some safe space, a clear floor or earth space if you're outside, which I love to do movement outside. I do have a mat and I have a couple of blocks there, you'll notice, and I have a folded blanket. I also have a glass of water. So, and I've lit some candles and put some plants in the space. So you may want to just set your space in a way that feels nourishing and good for you. And I highly recommend drinking water as we go. Okay, so when you're ready, and if you'd like to, I invite you just to come to a comfortable seat. You could be sitting or lying down. Even I'm going to share just a little bit about the history and context of yoga, a little bit about my connection to this moment and to what I've been learning about. And so it'll just be a few minutes of an intro, and I just invite you to maybe move or stretch or just rest as you take in a little bit of information. Um, okay, so as I mentioned, yoga is at least 5,000 years old. And the word yoga uh, translates from Sanskrit loosely to yoke, or I like to think about unity or a sense of unity and community with all things. I think of yoga, or I've connected with yoga kind of a lot as a process, and a process of liberating peace for myself and for others. It's a process of moving towards making progress in that direction. One of the core principles of yoga is ahimsa, or nonviolence. It's one of the central foundational principles of yoga, meaning non-harming to oneself, non-harming to others. And it's part of the first yama in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Nonviolence is also an active type of peace, a peace that resists all forms of oppression of self and others. And while yoga comes from Southeast Asia, with many cultures and religious religious traditions and countries, spiritual traditions, many places and people have influenced the development of yoga. And the religions, as I mentioned, Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism. And something really fascinating about yoga is that yoga practices and principles have inspired nonviolent resistance to British colonial rule in India. So that was during the 1920s. Mahatma Gandhi was really actively resisting um, British colonial rule and leading others through embodying some of these principles of yoga. And Mahatma Gandhi said, one of his quotes was, "Nonviolence is the greatest force the greatest force at the disposal of mankind." So that's something we can think about as we move through this process of liberating peace through the exercises and movements and learning more about yoga. And to bring a little bit of connection to a little closer to the present time, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., I'd like to share a quote that he had about peace as well. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Peace is not merely a distant goal, but means by which we arrive at that goal." So just consider that as you're moving through your practice, through your process. It's not about where we're getting, it's about how we're getting there. That's such a great metaphor for life and for so many ways of just being alive. So here we are today, I'm doing this video on June 20th, June 20th, 2025. And it is the summer solstice, right about the time of the height of the summer solstice. And also yesterday was Juneteenth, June 19th. And I've been learning more about the history of that day and about the movement towards liberation for African Americans. And also, we're all interconnected. So one person or one group of people's liberation, even if we don't belong to that group of people, our liberation is interconnected. And I believe that the more free another person becomes, the more free I become. The more free another group of people becomes, the more free all of us can become. And so, Juneteenth is a day, in the words of Opal Lee, who is known as the grandmother of Juneteenth because she wanted to make sure that Juneteenth became a national federal holiday. So in 2016, she walked 2.5 miles each day to go from Galveston, Texas, to Washington, D.C. And because it took 2.5 years, so the 2.5 miles was related to 2.5 years, for the news of the Emancipation Proclamation to reach the enslaved African Americans in Galveston, Texas. 2.5 years that this news of the liberation, the end of slavery, but it took 2.5 years for those African Americans to receive that news and to experience freedom from slavery. In the words of Opal Lee, Juneteenth is a day that celebrates progress. It's an affirmation that despite the most painful parts of our history, things do get better. America can change. She also said, "None of us are free until we all are free." And Opa Lee said, freedom to me means everyone having what they need. So I invite you to consider this yoga practice as joining in this 5,000-year long movement of liberating peace, discovering that peace within yourself, learning and diving into it so that you can ripple out and share and help that movement of liberation and peace grow in our world. It's also the time of the solstice, as I mentioned, a time when the sun is supporting us and summer, the energy of summer, warmth, and growth. So no matter when you're tuning into this video, I hope that this will fill you with the energy of growth and the process of liberating peace. Okay, so with all of that said, we'll go ahead and begin. So feel free if you'd like to just take a moment perhaps to notice your space around you again. Perhaps get a drink of water. If you've been sitting and listening to me, you might want to just get up and wiggle a little bit or move. I like to wiggle. It's not typically part of a yoga practice, but you might want to wiggle out your fingers, maybe wiggle out your hips or shoulders, wiggle out through your toes. And when you're ready and on your own timing, you can come into an easy seat or Sukhasana in Sanskrit. And you might start by just taking a sip of water if you have water nearby, reminding your body that it's mostly water. And when you've found your easy seat, which could look like me or it could look very different, throughout this practice, it's really important that you do what feels right to you. So it doesn't have to look like me, it has to feel good to you. And whenever you're ready, you could bring your palms to your knees, perhaps face down, or you could turn your palms face up. See what feels good to you. Grounding through your sitting bones and growing your spine up tall. And we'll begin with 3 collective breaths together. If you'd like to, you can breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Beautiful. If you'd like, feel free to reach your left fingertips out to the side and even imagine like you're wiggling your fingers, planting some beautiful seeds of liberating peace. Reaching that left arm gently out to the side and planting the fingertips into the earth or the mat. If you'd like to, reach your right arm up, reaching up through the spine, up to go over, softening through the shoulders. You might look straight out, you might look down, or you might look up. Breathing into the side stretch. And whenever you're ready, you could take your top palm, your right palm, turn it over and reach back toward the earth. Let your head and neck be the last thing to come up if it feels good to you. Planting the right fingertips, little seeds, maybe wiggling the fingers, taking the left arm, scooping it up, lengthening through the spine to go over, softening through the shoulders. Maybe you look up, maybe you're looking out, or maybe looking down. See what feels the best to you. Breathing deep and free. And whenever you're ready, you can take your top palm, your left palm, reaching your left palm over and letting your head and neck come up last, coming back through the center. Beautiful. Perhaps you'd like to take a couple of gentle circles through the shoulders, one direction and maybe the other. Just being mindful of what's happening in your shoulder today. If you'd like to, take a little circle in one direction with your nose, a few circles in one direction, and then go ahead and let those circles draw in the other direction. Just notice muscles in the back of the head and neck. If you'd like to, take your right palm, place it between your left shoulder and left neck. Just take your gaze side to side, gently stretching the muscles of the head and neck. Breathing deep and free, lengthening up through the spine. Now, coming back through the center, perhaps you'd like to take your left palm, bring it to in between your right shoulder and right neck. Go ahead and just take your gaze side to side, gently stretching the muscles of the head and neck. Breathing deep and free, just noticing your breath. Coming back through the center, perhaps take a moment, pause your uh, palms down on your knees. If you'd like to reverse the cross of your legs, you might also choose to have something to sit up on, such as a blanket or a block. It sometimes can feel good to have that, make sure you have that stability and lengthening in the lower back. Okay, we're going to take a seated twist. So rooting down, and perhaps you'd like to breathe in and up into cactus arms if that feels fun, or you could allow your arms to rest down to the side. But breathing up, lengthening through the spine, and exhaling, twisting just from the rib cage to the left. Gently looking, feeling that lengthening and breathing deep and free. On your next exhale, coming back through the center, choose for yourself cactus arms, or maybe it felt good to try that lengthening the arms to the side with your palms open. Breathing in, reaching the spine up, grounding down through the sitting bones, twisting just from the rib cage to the right. Breathing into it, feeling your breath fill your belly. Big belly breath. When you're ready, coming back through the center. Beautiful. If you'd like to take your palms out in front of you, you could push your palms forward and then maybe let your fingertips relax down, reaching your palms or fingertips up toward the sky and then relaxing down. And you might just take your fingertips in some gentle circles, drawing circles with your fingertips. One direction, and feel free to take it the other direction. Just noticing the mobility through your wrists. Maybe you alternate one palm up and the other palm points down if it feels good. If you want, give your hands a little shake out. And when you're ready, we'll come into a tabletop position. So tabletop, demonstrate to the side. Feel free to continue facing the screen or adjust as you need. For tabletop, the palms are under the shoulders and the knees are under the hips. You might want to use a blanket underneath the knees also for some padding. So making sure that you have a stability and an easiness in this tabletop. Spreading the palms out, spreading the weight through your palms, softening through the elbow joints, softening through the shoulder joints, and lengthening through the spine. Engage through the core. Navel center or belly button tugs inward. The tops of the feet are pressing into the mat. Great. You might take a little movement forward and back, just allowing yourself to find that grounding and core support. You might even take that same kind of movement side to side. And then find yourself grounding through the center. Find a stillness, perhaps looking down, lengthening through the spine, again, engaging through the core. And when you're ready, coming into some cat-cow breaths. So we'll move into cow, allowing the belly to soften down, the tailbone, top of the head reach up. And exhaling into a cat, rounding the spine. Following your own breath rhythm. Cat and cow. Bitalasana, Bitalasana. Breathing. Finding that movement from the tailbone and through the spine and through the skull. Beautiful. Feel free to take maybe some side to side, come back through neutral. And if you want to, take some C curves through the spine, just gently looking down. So you allow your tailbone and skull to find some lateral movement. Whenever you're ready, come back through tabletop, neutral tabletop. Tuck the toes and reach the tailbone up high. This is coming into downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take a moment to breathe here. Find your most peaceful and liberating version of downward facing dog. So you might walk your dog, pedaling through the feet. You might shake your head, yes or no. You might wiggle through the tailbone a little bit or bounce a little bit. Get the movement that feels really good to you. You might reach one arm up, find that three-legged dog, or reach the other arm, reach the toes up and return them down. Find your version of down dog that feels really nurturing and good to you. Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to move my blanket to the side. And we'll just also move into a little vinyasa here. So vinyasa is a type of yoga. It also means to place in a special way. And vinyasa is a series of movements. So from downward dog, moving into plank, lengthening out long, strong spine, navel center, engaging towards the spine. You could drop your knees here or keep your knees up. Hugging the elbows in, lowering down. Coming into baby cobra, palms under the shoulders, pressing the tops of the feet down into the mat. Baby cobra, you can come into full cobra. Or you could come into up dog, which would be lifting, pressing the tops of the feet, and the hands are really the only parts of you holding onto the floor here. Choose your version. Tuck your toes, reach the tailbone, come back to downward facing dog. Breathing into it. Take a few breaths here. That's it. Lengthening through the spine, through the sides. When you're ready, take your right foot, reach it back, and then step it forward between the hands and allow your back knee to lower down the left knee. Perhaps your top of your foot can rest on the floor. We'll come into a half split here. So you could use the blocks if you want to. You can find a little bit of length through the spine. And then allow your hips, send your hips back, extend and lengthen your right leg. And you can move through the hips, moving forward and back. Stretching the front and back of the leg. You can choose here if you'd like to keep your front foot on the ground. That's a choice. Or you might enjoy lifting the toes up and planting through the heel. You'll get a little bit of a different stretch. I feel it more in my lower leg when I do that. You feel it more in your foot if you keep your foot on the ground. Okay, when you're ready, come back to the right leg bent and perhaps either with or without a block, planting your left palm down and spiraling to the right, coming into a gentle twist here. Breathing into it. See if you can bring those hips, allow your hips to be squaring as much as you can, breathing into it. When you're ready, coming back through the center. Allow yourself to lengthen and stretch over that front leg and just hold if it feels good. Ardha Hanumanasana. And when you're ready, coming back to that runner's lunge. So tucking the back toes, lifting up. Maybe you use the blocks. And then let's step back to downward facing dog. Beautiful. You might use the blocks or you might not. Choose what works for you. Breathing deep and free. Whenever you're ready, take your left toes, perhaps reach your left foot straight back, and then bring your left foot between your hands. And you might lower the back leg, your right leg. Extend, let your right top of your right foot rest down. Maybe you'll use the blocks. Maybe you come up. Find the stretches. This is an intense stretch for the hip flexors, so be gentle with yourself. When you're ready, allow yourself to move through the hips back and forth. Remember, throughout a yoga practice, you might feel intense sensations, but if you ever feel pain, make sure that you stop. And that's the body's way of communicating. This isn't right for me right now. So really find the sensations that feel good as you move through this. Remember, it doesn't have to look like me. It has to feel good to you. You could choose to put padding under the knee. That's helpful. Remember, you can keep your foot down on the ground and stretch the top of the foot a little more, or you can allow your heel to plant and your toes to come up, and you'll feel the stretch in a few different areas. So just notice for yourself. And when you're ready, coming back through the center, let's plant through the right palm and open up through the left side, reaching the left arm up. Beautiful. Breathing into it. Lifting, lengthening, allowing the hips to soften down, being soft in the joints. Breathing deep and free. When you're ready, softening the left arm back down, coming into that runner's lunge, pressing through the palms and stepping the left foot back, coming back into downward facing dog, breathing in downward facing dog, lifting up through the tailbone, lengthening through the spine. Maybe you walk your dog, wiggle your dog's tail, find your most liberating, peaceful puppy dog shape. You liberate, find peaceful liberation for yourself and others. Allow that energy to really extend out from you. When you're ready, you can look between your hands and choose for yourself, step, float, walk, or hop your feet up to your hands, coming to the top of your mat. You might use the blocks here. Any height will work. Breathe in, halfway lift. Breathe out, forward fold. Breathe in, bend the knees, soften your way up, sweeping the arms. Exhale, hands to your heart. So I'm going to turn, you can stay at the top of your mat, but I'm going to turn and face you for a moment. We'll come into mountain pose. So for mountain pose, you could choose for yourself. Palms could be open and out, or like blades at your sides, fingertips pointing down. So find your standing mountain. Imagine you're tall and strong like a beautiful mountain. Breathe into your base of your feet. Allow your backs of your knees to be gently soft, and perhaps you engage the muscles of your thigh, gently lifting up. You can engage your navel center, tugging it into the spine. Can open through the collarbones if it feels good to you, opening through the heart center. Also feeling the boundary and strength of the mountain. So we'll move into some half sun salutations and sun salutations. I'm going to come back to the top of my mat now so that you can follow along and see a little bit better. When you're ready, breathing in, reaching up into extended mountain. Exhale, you can swan dive, turn on your core, or roll your way down. Inhale, halfway lift, use the blocks or not. Reach the top of your head, exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, soften your way up, reaching the arms, sweeping them up. Exhale, hands to heart. Beautiful. Half sun, let's try that again. Breathing in, sweeping the arms up, extended mountain. Exhale, roll your way or dive your way down. Turn on your core and away. All the way down to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, use the blocks or not. Reach to the top of your head. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, soften the knees, sweep the arms, extended mountain. Exhale, hands to heart. Moving into a full sun salutation, Surya Namaskar. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, swan dive, lengthen through the spine and turn on the core or roll your way down. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, place the hands on the earth or the blocks. Step your feet straight back. Come into a plank, strong plank. Choose for yourself, knees down or up. Navel center hugs into the spine. Exhale, hug the elbows in, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Feet press down into the floor. Choose for yourself, baby cobra, full cobra, or up dog. Allow your shoulders to press away from your ears. Engage through the core. Tuck the toes, lift the tail. Downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here in downward facing dog. Maybe you shake the head, yes or no. Maybe you pedal the feet. Maybe you take your own movements here, or maybe you find a gentle stillness. When you're ready, look in between your hands and step, float, jump, or hop your feet to your hands, coming to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Reach to the top of your head. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep the arms, bend the knees, extended mountain. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, extended mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Find your way there. Swan dive or roll your way down to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, palms to the floor, to the earth. Step your feet back into plank. Long, strong plank, knees up or down. Exhale, hug the elbows in, all the way down to the belly. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra, full cobra, up dog, you choose. Press the shoulders away from the ears. Tuck the toes, lift the tail, come into downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. Maybe walk your dog. Maybe wiggle the puppy dog's tail. Maybe explore a little bit of three-legged dog movements, reaching through the limbs. Lengthening through the spine. Do what you need here. Remember, this whole class is for you and what you need, so you don't have to look like anyone but yourself. Breathing deep and free. Lengthening the sides, reaching up through the tailbone. Whenever you're ready, looking between the palms, step, float, jump, or hop the feet to the hands. You choose. And take a forward fold here. Allow that weight of your skull to soften down. Maybe you use the blocks. Inhale, halfway lift. Reach to the top of your head. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, soften the knees, sweep the arms. Breathe into extended mountain and exhale, hands to the heart. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We'll come into warrior two. So first you can step the feet wide. And when you're ready, you might turn the right toes out to the side. Allow your left toes to be pointing forward. Bringing the arms out, you choose. You might have your palms facing down or maybe facing up. Perhaps even alternating and just moving a bit through the arms might feel good. Palms up and palms down. Bending that right knee, lining the right knee up over the right ankle. Perhaps you'd like to join me in a gentle warrior dance. So I've turned the right palm up and look to the right palm, keeping the left palm down. Turn the left palm up, right palm softens down, and alternate, looking to one side and the other. Breathing through a little warrior dance. Really check in also as you're moving here. You might even pause your upper body. Just take a moment, check in with that lower body again. Make sure you line up heel to heel or heel to the middle of that back foot. So you choose. Feel the alignment that feels right for you. And if you'd like to, you can take your knees with you in the little warrior dance. Tracking the knees over the toes. Letting your breath support your moving. Remember, this doesn't have to look like me. It has to feel good to you. When you're ready, come back to that still warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. Right knee right over the right ankle. Shoulders are softened down. Bring the left arm to the left leg and reach the right arm straight up. You could stay right here. This could be your peaceful warrior. Or you could reach up to go over, lengthening up to go over. You could look up, you could look out, you could look down. Shanti Virabhadrasana, peaceful warrior. Pressing into the outer edge of the back foot, breathing into it, softening through the shoulder, and when you're ready, come back into warrior two. Let's move into extended side angle. Right forearm rests on the right thigh. Reaching through the left fingertips, find that long, strong line from the outer edge of the left foot all the way up. Extended side angle. Be very light on this forearm. Use the strength and power of your thighs and legs. Breathing into it. And when you're ready, coming back through warrior two. Breathing, perhaps take a few little shoulder circles. And when you're ready, lengthening the right leg, perhaps turning the toes, both facing forward now. That's it, bringing the hands to the hip. And when you're ready, you can come into warrior two on the second side. So we'll turn the left toes out, bend the left knee, lengthen through the right side. You might rest your arms for a moment. Press into the outer edge of the back foot. Feel your alignment. So perhaps you're lining up your heel with the back heel, or maybe the heel with the middle of the back foot. Choose for yourself. Engage those muscles. When you're ready, reaching your arms out. Maybe you join me in a warrior dance, turning the left palm up and then the right. Looking to the left, to the right, being gentle with yourself. Maybe your knees come along for the journey. Finding your own variation of this beautiful warrior dance. Tracking the knees over the toes. Less is more. Beautiful, everyone. Coming back through that still warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. And when you're ready, taking the right arm, reaching toward the right leg, you can choose the left arm can come straight up. This is a little bit less intense on the lower back. Or you can reach up to go over, lengthening through the spine. Choose for yourself. Look straight ahead, look up, or look down. Breathe into it. Breathing into that liberating peace for yourself, knowing that the more you breathe into that for yourself, the more you can extend that to others, finding the joy in the journey, even through the challenges. Shanti Vira Vajrasana, peaceful warrior. Breathing back into warrior two. Softening into extended side angle. The left arm bends. Rest your left forearm on your left leg. Reach up through that right arm. Find that long line between the right fingertips all the way down to the back outer edge of the right foot. Breathe into it. Soften through the shoulders. Be very light on your forearm. Knee is over the ankle. Open through the heart. When you're ready, come back through warrior two. Maybe wiggle the fingers. Maybe give yourself a little shoulder circles. Extending the left leg, turning the toes in. And you could take your heels and then your toes in, or you could hop your way in, find your way back to standing. We'll move from here into tree pose. A beautiful emulation of nature. And a lot of yoga poses have been inspired by animals and parts of nature. So I love this tree pose. You might want to have one of your blocks handy for this pose. It's not needed, but you can have it ready for one of the poses coming up, actually, or just maybe to the side. So when you're ready, you might just shift your weight onto one foot, then onto the other. Check in with how each side is doing and bring some awareness to the center line of your body. That will help with your balance. You may want to pick a focal point ahead of you, a drishti, something you can focus your eyes and your attention on while you balance. All right, let's shift on to the right side if that feels good to you. Taking the left toes, you can plant the left toes into the earth. You can turn out the toes, turn out the hip. Feel that connection to your center line of your body, right? And you could just keep your toes here, and that could be your tree pose. Or perhaps you lift your leg, balance on one foot, bringing the sole of the foot to the lower leg, breathing into it. Focusing on that center line, growing your tree up. Maybe you find a focal point to rest your eyes on. You might bring your palms together at your heart. Let your breath support your balance. It's okay to wobble and it's okay to fall. Use any support that you need. Remember, the air around you supports you, the earth supports you, and your own skeleton supports you. You might lift your foot up above your knee. Make sure you're not putting weight into your knee. But you might press the sole of your feet into your thigh. Press the palms together. Woo! Little wobble. Breathing in and out. You might reach your arms, grow your arms like beautiful branches of a tree. Find any tree shape that feels good to you. Breathe into it. And when you're ready, perhaps you bring your palms underneath your left thigh. Just gently allow your knee to extend. You might even bring your hands to your hips just to remind your hips to stay level, allowing your knee to extend out in front of you. And maybe taking your ankles in a little circle in one direction, a little circle in the other direction. You could even hug the knee in and keeping the hips level. And then I'm going to turn to the side, but you can stay facing forward and taking your left toes, your left heel back and reaching through the heel. Hips are squared towards the earth, towards the floor. You might reach your arms back, straight back. This is warrior three. Breathing into warrior three. Really reaching through that back heel, finding length in that center line of your body. You could bring your arms out in the airplane or over your head. For me, that feels like a lot on my lower back, so I'm going to choose either the airplane or at my side. You choose for yourself. When you're ready, come restabilize and chair. Whew. Send your tailbone back, bend the knees, reach the arms up, or perhaps out in front of you, or maybe you put your hands on your hips. You choose. Chair is a stabilizing, strengthening pose. Okay, I'm going to come back to facing forward. We're going to do that on the other side. We'll get to that block that I mentioned. We're getting close. Okay, when you're ready, perhaps shift your weight onto your left side, but feel that connection to the center line of you. Left side, left and center. Okay, and then take the right toes, perhaps plant the right toes, turn the right hip out. Feel that center line, the stability of your hips. Bringing your right foot up if you like. You can stay here if you want to too. Bringing the sole of your foot to the lower foot, lower leg, pressing into it. Feeling that stability through both sides of your body. Make sure to avoid putting pressure into the knee. You could choose to reach up and bring your sole of your foot to your inner thigh. Make sure you're not putting pressure in the knee and find a focal point. Breathe into that focal point ahead of you, something you can focus your attention and your gaze on. Allowing your breath to be easy and free, like a tree that receives and gives in a constant cycle. You could reach your branches up, feeling that liberating peace, the process and the progress and your growth. Softening through the shoulders, feeling your roots and your branches, maybe waving in the breeze. Using any support you would like to. And whenever you're ready, I'm going to turn to the side again, but you can stay facing forward. So you can allow yourself to bring, I was getting ahead of myself. You can allow yourself to bring the palm underneath your thigh, your right thigh, and keeping the pelvis, the hips squares. You might even bring your palms to your hips for a moment. And by that, I just mean one hip doesn't come up, but both hips are staying level. You can lift the right knee straight up and out, and you might just take some little circles. Ooh, that feels good through the toes and through the ankles. Circles one direction, circles the other direction. Remember, you can always rest. You can always come out. These balancing poses are a challenge for me. So just do what feels good to you and make sure your less is more. Listen to your body. You might go ahead and bring that knee in, hugging the knee in if it's available to you, keeping the hips softened and level. And when you're ready, I'm going to turn to the side, but you can stay facing forward, taking that right heel and sending it back, allowing yourself to come into that warrior three pose, keeping the hips both pointing down toward the earth, lengthening the arms back, reaching through the right heel, breathing into this, looking down, imagining you're flying. You could be an airplane, extending your wings out to the side. You could reach your arms up and overhead. For me, that's too much for my lower back for today. So I'm going to be at the airplane or the back. Beautiful. Breathing into this lengthened spine and the challenge. And when you're ready, coming into chair, sending the tailbone back, lengthening up through the spine. Beautiful. It's not an easy series, but you did it. You did it perfectly in your own way, however you did it today. You could reach your arms in front of you. You could keep your hands on your hips. Make sure you're connected with a sense of parallel knees. So having one knee ahead of the other can impact your lower back. So make sure you have that stability in the lower body and alignment. Beautiful, beautiful. Whenever you are ready, coming back up through the center. Now, here we are with the block. This might be a nice time to use the block. You could bring it in so it's right next to your foot. We're going to come into eagle pose. So for eagle pose, you could also play with the height of the block, just mentioning. I'm not necessarily going to use it, but I'll demonstrate how you could use it. So having the block handy on your next to your right foot. And for eagle pose, we'll shift right onto the right foot, feeling that center line. Taking the left leg and crossing it over. Here's where you might use the block and plant your left toes into the block, a little more stability. Or you can wrap the left toes around the leg, keeping a sense of evenness and stability in the hips. You don't want to take your hips with you, but your hips are pointing forward. Left leg crosses over. That means that the left arm crosses under and the right arm crosses over. So your elbows, then you can find the palms. Breathe into it, pressing the palms in this twisted eagle. You're going to reach your palms up, softening your shoulders down, sitting down a little deeper. Breathing into it and imagining a beautiful eagle sitting atop a tree, looking out over this amazing river and trees and landscape with this power, liberating, peaceful power to fly and also to rest and gather strength. Breathing into it. Whenever you're ready, release, take flight. Coming back to chair. Sending the tailbone straight back, lengthening up through the spine. Arms can be overhead, keeping your knees parallel. You could have your arms in front of you, or feel free to put the hands on the hips. All right, taking a few breaths here, and coming back up to standing. When you're ready, if you'd like to use that block, you can take the block and put it next to the side of the left foot. When you're ready, we'll shift onto the left side, crossing this time the right leg over the left. Remember, keep those hips like headlights pointing forward. You might put your right toes into the block if that feels stabilizing and good. And each side is different, so you might do something different on each side. Or you might wrap the toes, reaching the toes back. Or maybe they're hovering in space a bit. You choose. Okay, if the right leg is over, that means the right arm is under. The left arm is over. Find that cross with the elbows, bring the palms together, any variation or version of this. So it doesn't have to look like me, it has to feel good to you. Allowing yourself to sit down, lifting the palms up, softening the shoulders, breathing into any sensations that you feel. Imagining the beauty of an eagle with its wings and its strength and its power. A river, trees, other eagles. Breathing deep and easy. Breathing freely. And whenever you're ready, release, take that flight. And come back into chair pose. Beautiful. That's it. Perhaps you want to stand up and come into swan dive into a gentle forward fold. You could just allow the head and neck to rest down for a moment. You might even clasp the elbows. You might find that other block. If it feels good, you can use the blocks for support. Or you could clasp your elbows and just gently shake your head, yes or no. You could bend the knees to protect your hamstrings. Remember, do what feels best to you. And whenever you're ready, breathe in, halfway lift, lifting through the top of the head. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, sweep the arms. up overhead and bringing the hands to the heart with an exhale. Okay, we'll come into another chair pose. So sending the tailbone back, breathing in, the arms up. They could be out or at the hips, keeping those knees parallel and that stability in the lower body. I really have to focus on that, so that's part of why I mention it, because maybe you're in that category too, where you really have to focus to bring that stability, protect your lower back. We're going to take a revolved chair pose. So just twisting the upper body, lengthen up and twist to the side. Your rib cage could be just the part of you that's twisting. Check in that your knees stay parallel. This might be a less is more moment. It certainly is for me. You might extend the arms out to the side. You might choose to do a cactus with your arms. Less is more. No stress, no strain. You might also rest your left forearm across your knees and open up to the side. Take a breath here and then come back to hands to heart. Standing up, taking a little rest. Breathe it in and out. When you're ready, come back to chair, sweep the arms up. Maybe you take the arms forward or maybe they're at the hips. Finding that evenness in the knees, the parallel knees. Breathing in, growing the spine up. Exhaling, just the ribcage twist. It might be less is more moment. You could reach the arms out like this. You could cactus the arms. Check in with your knees up there, parallel. You could also soften the right forearm, rest it across the thighs, and open up to the side. Check in with those knees. Great job. Less is more. Breathing into it. Bringing the palms together, hands to the heart, and gently coming back to standing. Beautiful, everyone. From here, let's move into the floor. So finding your own easy way onto your belly. Finding your own journey. Take your time. There's no rush to get there. Finding your own journey onto your belly for Sphinx pose. Make sure you're enjoying the process and the way of getting there. Relaxing down onto the belly, turning your head to one side or the other. When you get there, just allow yourself to be held by gravity for a moment. Take a few deep breaths. Perhaps you bring the palms close to the shoulders, press the tops of the feet gently into the floor. The feet can be a little bit wider, like hip width for this pose, or maybe even a little wider might feel good to you. Breathing deep and free. When you're ready, we're going to use the forearms and the palms. You can bring the elbows gently under the shoulders here and use the forearms and palms to lift your head and neck up. Breathing into this Sphinx pose, this beautiful posture. The elbows are gently under the knees, maybe a little bit wider. Really using the support of your forearms and palms, and maybe if you want to take a look around your space here. This is a great place to just gently stretch the head and neck again. Feel this gentle back bend. You can always just stay in neutral also. Whenever you're ready, you can fold the forearms, put one palm over the other and gently rest. You could rest on one side of the other, one cheek or the other of your face. Soften the muscles of the face. Breathing deep and free. And whenever you're ready, coming back into Sphinx. So allowing yourself to bring the elbows under the shoulders, forearms and palms are spreading out on the floor. Just breathing in and up in Sphinx. Noticing where you feel this in your lower back, softening through the lower body, pressing the feet are still somewhat active, pressing into the floor, pressing the shoulders away from the ears, using the support of your breathing into it. And whenever you're ready, melting and softening back into the floor. You might want to put one palm over the other, one hand over the other, and just gently rest on one side or the other. And then allowing your side of your face to soften down, moving the palms out, and taking the arms long at the sides, allowing the palms to face up towards the sky. And take a moment here and just breathe into the support of the earth and the floor. Allow yourself to be held by the floor, by the earth. Breathing into it. And on your next exhale, lift your feet, lift your hands, lift your heart. Continue breathing deep and free and focus on lengthening through the spine. So less arching through the back and more lengthening through the spine. You can look down, allow your head and neck to lengthen, soften. Keeping those palms turned up as if you're holding something beautiful and precious in your hands, breathing through it. And whenever you're ready, softening gently and slowly back down into the floor, allowing gravity and the earth to take all of your weight. And we'll take that one more time. So on the next exhale, lift your feet, lift your hands, lift your heart. Lengthen through the spine, lengthen through the toes, lengthen through the top of the head. Continue breathing. You're in the process and you're making progress toward liberating peace for yourself and others. Pressing the pubic bone down into the earth, but lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. You'll be softening the chin down towards the heart. Whenever you're ready, softening back down. That was locust or shalabhasana. From here, if you'd like to, bring the palms underneath the shoulders, coming into a tabletop position, pressing yourself into a tabletop position. And from here, you might even tuck the toes and lift the tailbone, come into downward facing dog. Maybe walk your dog. Lengthen the sides, breathe into it. Take any movements in this downward facing dog that feel good to you. And then coming back through tabletop and finding your own way onto your back. So really letting the process of getting there be the most liberating and peaceful process that it can be for you. So you could do something similar to what I'm doing. I'm going to come into sitting and then gently soften down onto one side so I can lay on my back with my knees up. So that might feel good to you, or you might find another way. Use any support you need, but the palms of the hands are really great. Take your time to get there, rolling on to the support of your back. And you might also want to have a block handy for this part. It's can be nice, but it's also not a requirement. So just allowing the sounds and whatever's in your space to go by, softening onto your back into the constructive rest. This is one of my favorite yoga postures. And you can feel your feet flat on the floor, your knees. You could rest in towards one another, or you could have your knees gently open, coming out of your hips. And you might give a little tap to the bones directly behind your ears, just allowing your spine to lengthen. If you have a hair thing, you might need to move it, but allowing your spine to lengthen and your chin to soften down towards the chest, allowing your arms to lengthen at your sides. You might bring your palms to your belly and just breathe in and out. Take a moment to feel constructive rest. And if you'd like to, we'll move into a gentle bridge pose. So there's a few options here, but pressing into the feet and gently lifting up through the hips, finding a length through the spine. Make sure that you don't look to the side in this posture. So just listen to the cues. You might want to watch the video later, but look up, don't look to the side here. You might take the block and put it under your sacrum. That can feel really nice. Could be at different heights, and you could bring the fingertips together and clasp the arms. You could bring your shoulder blades together. And you can also use your own muscles and not use a block. So just remember, don't turn your head side to side or in this posture. Just allow the gaze to soften up. And if you need to come back to it or watch this part if it's newer to you before you try it fully, that's great too. Breathing deep and free. And then whenever you're ready, if you were using the block, you might remove the block put it to the side, and then gently roll through your spine from the top down to the tailbone. Beautiful. And if you'd like to, from here, you can take the right foot and cross it over the left knee, the right ankle really. And we'll come into a supine pigeon. So you can flex through the right foot, engaging some muscles, allowing your back to just gently press into the floor. And from here, you might choose to thread your palms through your left leg. You could reach toward your hamstring. You could use your right elbow to just gently press the thigh. You might also reach and grab the shin and gently bring the left knee in towards your center. And you might feel an intense stretch. Keeping that length in the spine, letting the chin soften down toward the heart, breathing into it. Keeping the shoulders and hips relaxed on the floor, lengthening through the spine. Easy deep breath. And whenever you're ready, go ahead and release that gently, coming back down, allowing the left foot to rest on the floor, and then bringing the right foot to the floor. Breathing in and breathing out. Whenever you're ready, taking the left foot, the left ankle, crossing it over the right knee. Perhaps you thread the hands through. Maybe you come to the hamstring, or maybe you come to the shin. Bringing your right knee in towards your center. You might use your left elbow to gently press on the left thigh, opening up through the hips, feeling the evenness in the hips, breathing into this supine pigeon. Breathing deep and free. Softening the gaze. I noticed I just started to close my eyes. We're coming into our resting posture. So it's beginning to wind down. And when you're ready, allowing your right foot to gently make its way back to the floor, and your left foot uncrossing, also coming back to the floor. Returning to constructive rest for a moment. You might bring the palms to the belly. You might take a moment, just notice what parts of you are connected to the floor. Take in a few deep belly breaths. Lengthening through the spine, so allowing the chin to soften down. I have to remind myself to do that. So part of why I'm suggesting that to you. Also, you might have to maybe connect to those bones behind the ears and just lengthen the back of the neck, allowing the chin to soften down. You could bring your, it can feel good also just to notice that little tilt in your lower back and just gently soften the back into the floor. What muscles do you have to use? And then release. Spine has, this is a way you'll feel the natural curves of the spine. So just taking a moment to notice that. You might inhale and soften the whole surface of the back into the floor, and then exhale, just gently let it release. Beautiful. Take a few more deep belly breaths here. Softening the eyes and the gaze. Whenever you're ready, you could allow the arms to just gently reach out to the sides. And you might allow your knees fall toward the left while your gaze, your eyes, and your head and neck gently fall towards the right. And keeping your shoulders both relaxed on the ground. So less is more. That might mean your twist of your lower body might be less, and that's okay. Breathing deep belly breath. Being really mindful to find ease in your head and neck. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Whenever you're ready, gently rolling back up through the center, allowing the head and neck to roll back up and the knees to roll back up through the center. Take a pause here and a breath. And then allowing the knees to fall to the right while your gaze falls to the left. Keeping the shoulders relaxed down on the earth, finding ease in the head and neck, and adjusting. Remember, this is for you. What feels good to you? Breathing deep and free. Breathing deep into the belly. Breathing through the nose and out to the mouth if it feels good to you. Whenever you're ready, taking your time, coming back, gently back through the center, coming back to constructive rest. You might just check in again with those bones behind the ears, let the chin soften down. This is a nice time. You might also use a blanket if you'd like to. There's lots of ways you can use a blanket, but one way is to fold the blanket and put it actually behind your head and just bring it right under your head and neck, um, above your shoulders, so that you can get some of that lengthening through the spine, softening the chin down toward the heart. You could stay in constructive rest for Shavasana, or you might find that you like to extend the legs out, coming into Shavasana or corpse pose. Final resting pose. So really taking a moment to just appreciate your body for all the liberating, peace-filled movements that it's moved through. You could choose to have your palms up and your arms lengthened at the sides, or you might rest your palms on your belly. Take any little last movements you need. It might feel good to put something under your knees, like a rolled up blanket. Feel free to close your eyes, and I'll be quiet for a few minutes so that you can simply rest. in this liberating peace and this liberating process and progress that we're all making together. Feel free to just gently and mindfully bring your attention back to your breath if your mind wanders, which it does for all of us. So just continue to bring your attention back to your breath. And I'll call us back together in just a few minutes. You have time to rest. I'll call us back together and we'll close the class together. Enjoy resting in the liberating, peaceful progress and process, Shavasana. Softening the muscles of the face, softening the muscles of the head and neck. Just breathing and being. And whenever you're ready, very slowly and gently begin to wiggle your toes. If you'd like to, you can wiggle your fingers. Continue your easy breath. If you'd like to, you could just gently allow your head to move from side to side. Maybe your head and neck be heavy, supported by the earth and the floor. Easy, gentle movements. Be allowing yourself to soften to a gentle smile. Your eyes, if your eyes were closed, you might gently open your eyes. Again, just wiggle through the fingers, through the toes. If you'd like to, you could roll onto one side or the other. Take your time, really take your time and move as gently and mindfully as you can. And when you get to your side, just rest. Just be on your side. Take a few easy breaths, allowing gravity to hold you. When you're ready, you might gently press your palms. Really enjoy the journey of getting up to sitting. Use the palms if it feels good to you to move your way into sitting into an easy seat. Remember, find an easy seat that works for you. So you might use your blanket and sit up on your blanket. Might feel that softening and gentle softening through the muscles of your face, maybe softening into a smile. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth if it feels good to you. And I'll just remind us of the theme that we moved through today, liberating peace, moving with liberating peace, and remembering that yoga is a process and we are making progress towards that liberating peace, the way we move in all of our movements. So you might just think about some way you'd like to move or something you will do when you leave your practice or your yoga mat and move into your daily life. What's something you'll do for liberating peace for yourself and for others? I'd like to end with a quote from Gandhi, and then we'll take 3 collective breaths together if you'd like. Mahatma Gandhi was born October 2nd, 1869. And he said, "Nonviolence is the greatest force at the disposal of mankind. It is mightier than the mightiest of weapons." So through your practice today, you have moved with liberating peace, a powerful nonviolent force of ahimsa, self-love, love for yourself, and love for all beings. Love, liberation, and peace to you. If you'd like to, you can bring your palms together at your heart. And let's end with 3 breaths together, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth with gratitude and love. Thank you so much for joining in today's class. I've really enjoyed moving and guiding you through this journey of liberating peace for yourself and others. And I hope that you'll bring this spirit into everything you do. Blessings and gratitude. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope to see you again another time. Be good to yourself. Thank you.